Surrender unclaimed financial assets today and avoid the last-minute rush. Do not wait for the June 30th, 2023 deadline. For more information, visit our website www.ufaa.go.ke/holders or contact us through holders@ufaa.go.ke or call us on 020 402 3000.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome. It's day 4 of the ongoing WRC Safari Rally Kenya 2023 edition, and this is KBC Channel 1 TV station, your true sports partner and national broadcaster. Remember, late last year, November, December, we brought you the 2022 World Cup. And this time around, we're bringing you the Safari Rally in keeping up with the theme of being your true sports partner. So, kudos to KBC. My name is Tiras Wayaki. Welcome aboard again. We were with you in the morning and now on to the penultimate stage. The winner of this particular edition of the Safari Rally is going to be crowned this very afternoon in a ceremony that's going to be conducted from the Wildlife Training Institute. And we are expecting no less a person than the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency William Samoei Arap Ruto, to grace the event. I'm joined here by a man I was with in the morning and I've been with since Friday. He's none other than Daudi Kanja, veteran broadcaster. He's covered so much, darts, boxing and Safari Rally. Daudi, welcome.
Good afternoon.
He's the Daudi Kabaka of sports broadcasting in Kenya. No wonder he's called Daudi. And then on the far right is a gentleman who's come now to really help us navigate through these tricky bits and bobs, because it's going to really become very difficult. At this particular stage, it's head-to-head between none other than Sébastien Ogier of France and the Finn, the flying Finn, the latest flying Finn, that is Karl Rovanperä. Gentleman is none other than Kego Karithi, who was with us yesterday. Kego,
Asante.
welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
You'll help us navigate through these tricky bits. Wonderful stuff. In about an hour or so, we shall go back to Hell's Gate 2, which is known as the Wolf Power stage. And that's where we're going to find out who is the man amongst men. But until then, let's have some beautiful analysis like we've been doing ever since the tournament, the Safari, the event began. I'll start with you, Daudi. Daudi, could you kindly give us a heads up of where things stood?
Currently, like what my friend Kiko says, Zoe is a very good insider. They are exactly at what you call the penultimate. The penultimate is the stage just before the big finale stage. But if you can go back to the Hell's Gate 1, is Oti Tanak, of course, was leading. His co-driver is Martin Haveoa. And then, of course, we had Newville at number 2, number 3, Karl Rovanperä, number 4, Evans, number 5, Ogier. I'm brushing because you don't have time. And then, of course, number 6 was Lobert, Piao. Number 7 was Dan Sodo. Takamoto Kasuta was actually lying at number 8. Number 9 was Solberg, who is actually doing WRC 2. And then Katejonovic, this guy from Poland, also WRC 2, was lying at number 10. Well, that is the current situation then, but of course things have changed.
Yes, but that was after the live feed on Hell's Gate 1.
Live feed, yes.
And now we're going to Hell's Gate 2. So since we left the airwaves, which was just about 2 hours ago, that's where things stood. So that's where we left things. Yes. And Kigo, do you want to tell us whether it's now possible for things to change? Because he said that that was then, and this is now. Things could have changed.
Well, this is, they say that the rally is not over till you get to the last stage. And it looks good for Ogier. The old master seems to have kept the young boy in his place, but you never know. Kale is very hungry. Kale maybe wants to prove some type of point. But I mean, as it stands, he's going to be leading the World Championship. I think OJ, maybe it's a matter of pride. In fact, Syrian won today. He did a masterful drive. He lost his aerodynamics at the back of the car, and he still came out almost a couple of minutes ahead of Rovanpera, who was many minutes ahead of everybody else. So OJ he knows how to win this. So let's see.
Still on you, there's Kenyans in this safari, and they're doing pretty well. Do you want to give us a bit of a heads up with regards to the Kenyans within the Kenya National Rally Championship standings?
Yeah, the results we have are from after Sleeping Warrior yesterday, so that's the end of yesterday.
End of yesterday.
And so Carl Tundo, of course, was leading. Karan Patel is second. Jasmeet Chana is third. Isa Amwari is fourth. Nick Sachanya is fifth. And maybe just to mention the ladies, Natasha Tundo is in sixth. Tinashe Gatimo is in eighth. Your very own Paulin Shegu is in 20th. And yes, Jennifer Ayetza in 14th. So we have about 20 guys who are still in the KNRC round of the event. So let's hope they get to the end of the rally today.
And that's the latest as regards the app that you have from you guys have as rally drivers and navigators.
Yes, there's an app we use to get all the documentation and the results from the rally. And according to that, that is the last official event results we have for the KNRC. They may update it in the next few minutes, and if they do, I will definitely let you know.
Brilliant stuff. Let's not underestimate what Sebastian Ogier was able to achieve this morning, because he ran into a tree, or part of his car ran onto a tree, and the door of his boot flung out, and he left it behind and went on. We've just received a photo image from a photograph from your phone. I don't know who sent it to you, Kego.
Yes.
But it showed that there was some two lucky guys who found that door, and they posed for a photograph.
The gentleman is actually called Shabir Ismail. He's a controller, and I think he's at the head. I don't know the start of which stage, but the bodywork has somehow made its way back to him, and I'm sure at the end of the rally he will give it back to Toyota. There was drama in the morning, during the Malewa, which is a very tough stage. Kale really sent the car foot to the pedal, and really cut Oji's lead in half. So Oji to come back in Oserian, minus his aerodynamics at the back, and be able to pull back the 8 seconds he had lost to Kale in the previous stage. I mean, he's not 8-time world champion for nothing.
Just before we get to Daudi, what does that actually mean when you lose the door to your boot, and you have all this air coming in with dust and so on and so forth?
Let alone the dust. The aerodynamics at the back of the car helped to stabilize the car at speed. And that stage had some good 800, 900 straight. So the car was touching 170, 180. Without the back I think the back was very light, was dancing around, but he was able to keep the car on the road, able to do a much faster time. And like I said, he's not 8-time champion for now.
So you have the aerodynamics issue, and you have this one of the car boot.
Let alone the dust coming in.
Let alone the dust coming into your eyes, your nostrils, and into the mouth area.
Very uncomfortable.
Like most people, he could be allergic to dust.
Very uncomfortable.
And he still pulled it off. In fact, that's the stage that he won.
Yes, and the stage after that, he had pulled up his balaclava. The balaclava is the part of the underwear which is fireproof. You usually wear it under your chin here, but he had pulled it up to cover his nose and his mouth, because obviously the dust in the car was proving to be quite disturbing. But even under those circumstances, a Yaris that was not working too well, the guy told Kale, man, we are not we're not 8-time champion for nothing. Catch me if you can, young man.
Daudi, for those that missed you out in the morning, and now we've got a better picture of stuff. The car door is out. Here your aerodynamics, you have serious issues. From your experience covering rally for so many years, can you relate that with a similar incident from years gone by? Or is this something unprecedented totally?
This is something that is quite really, I mean, it's like being carried at the back of a pickup. And the car is doing those kind of speeds. You're trying to cover yourself, and you're still unable to cover yourself. You come out like a mole. I remember one time, I don't know what year was that, when John Barnes Richard Burns.
Richard
Burns was actually entangled into kind of like a hole, and you could not relate whether he's a human being or a mole coming out of a hole. That would have been the situation for GA.
And he continued with the rally?
He continued doing it, and he was able even to beat Carl Impera. And I was able to push it to 13.7 ahead of Carl.
Just to add to that, I think we owe team manager Yari Mati Latvala all our thanks for not issuing team orders. You know, he could easily have said this morning, we have 1 up to 4, no need to fight boys, just maintain formation and come in and win. But he has told the guys at Toyota, you drive. If you want to win it, drive it. So we really owe Yari for not spoiling the competition. Toyota could have cruised to the end. You know, they are far ahead of anybody else. They could have simply done a formation drive to the end of the rally. But the commitment that Kale and OJ are giving it, definitely the team boss told them, you know, you guys, it's between you. I'm not there. Don't involve me.
Daudi had touched on that earlier on, and I told him, Daudi, are you sure that that kind of thing happens? So it does happen. Okay, we have looked at how this may have affected Sebastian Ogier as a driver. What of his navigator? You're a navigator. Does that also affect the navigator?
Of course it does. You're getting dust in your mouth. You're getting a dry throat. The way they are driving, the notes have to come in, you know, shotgun method. You're talking fast. You're trying to cough. You're trying to breathe. Very difficult circumstances, and for them to pull that kind of time on somebody like Kale, I mean, they are showing that you know, OJ is a master at this game.
Jeez.
And just to get onto the situation now, currently with the Toyota Gazoo, to be able to do 1, 2, 3, 4, just like last year, it would be like they would be actually put in the Guinness Book of Records, because the last time it happened was actually 2010, when Sebastian Loeb led the Citroen team to 1, 2, 3, 4 position, many years ago.
And what does that say about the Toyota brand and Africa? Do they understand the African setting so well that they're able to do this? I remember when I was small, Toyota Celica, beyond Voldergard, they were calling the shots. In fact, the earliest rally I think I can remember dates back to 1984, and the person that won it was Bjorn Voldergard,
yes.
Driving a Toyota.
Yes.
And I mean, what does that say of the Toyota brand?
Big market, huge market. That's why they say that always, most of the time, the car ahead of you.
Or between Ogier and Rovanpera. When you look at this particular schedule of the race, which is the toughest day? Is it day 1 at Kasarani? Is it day 2? Or is it yesterday? Or is it today on paper?
As a navigator, I think I would say Safari is tough from the word go, because you know, you can have, like I said earlier yesterday, the problem that you develop on day 1 you carry with you till day 3. So of course yesterday was a marathon day. It was very long. Guys were up at 7 and were going. Some of them we hear reports, people reporting back to the service at 2 a.m. because of the traffic that was on the road. So very long day. Today of course is also not a short day. And by all accounts, we've heard that Malewa is the roughest event. I have actually done that event. I can say I agree.
Not Sleeping Warrior?
No. Malewa is very short, but it's full of rocks. It's full of stones. And their rocks are strewn everywhere. And these are volcanic. They can slice your tire in a minute. And then again, you know, there's the added pressure of this is the last day.
Yes.
You don't want to come out today.
Yes.
You know, you've struggled through the first 2 days. You want to get out. You want to go and finish today. So of course there are nerves. There are, you know, there's people figuring out what to do. But Safari generally is a tough event from the word go. I don't think you can pick and choose and say what and what. It's a tough event. You get through it. In fact, I was at the service park on Sunday and I met some of my friends there. Kina Dennis Mwenda, you know, I met Josiah Karaoke, and I was asking them, "Are you guys ready?" And they said to me, "Don't ask us that. You know the answer to that. We say we are ready after the event. You know, you don't say you are ready before. When you finish is when you can say, yes, we were ready." Because Safari is tough. Today people will come out, you know. Very tough.
Speaking of coming out, Jeremiah Wahome retired at one stage yesterday.
Yeah.
But because of the Super Rally, which you explained to Kenyans what that means, it gives you a second chance. It brings you back in through a window that never existed in the early days. In the early days when you retired or your time bad or mechanical problems forced you to, whatever the issue, you were out.
Yeah.
But Jeremiah Wahome came back, courtesy of that Super Rally.
Yeah.
And I think he developed mechanical problems.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of drivers, and this is why I think Daudi Kanja was of the opinion that yesterday's was the toughest, because you're looking at Sleeping Warrior, you're looking at other stages and the casualties that would have taken if not for the Super Rally window that brings you back in.
Yeah.
I mean, Karan Patel developed a clutch problem. He also had sort of an accident around Gilgil, and he's not the only one. We've mentioned Jeremiah Wahome, his vehicle taking a bit of a battering. If you look at the casualties from yesterday, casualties in quotes, one tends to feel that as though yesterday was a tougher section. But then when you listen to Pauline Shegu's interview earlier today, and you're thinking, no, maybe today is the actual tough event of the toughest rally in the world, because even she developed mechanical problems that were able to be sorted. And it's just amazing. This debate could go on until the cows come home. Let's go back to Naivasha. Sir Daniel Wahome is waiting for us there. He's got the latest heads up.
Usipochukua sasa tunatoka hapa. Anasema nini? Wanasema nini?
Back at Broadcasting House together with Daudi Kanja and Kigo Kareithi, and we are at the Service Park, which is at the Wildlife Research and Training Institute in Naivasha. It was formerly known as the KWS Service Park. Everyone in the rallying place is calling it KWS. The name has changed, and so we're going to be having some conversations. And just to give you an idea of where we are, we're just next to the service center for the Talanta Hela team that also has got a co-sponsorship from KBC. So that's why we've got a Sundowner banners there. So the first bay there is team Tinashka Timo. That's the mother and daughter team. Then after that we've got Pauline Shegu, and at the far end we've got Tash Tundo. So they have left there in the Kenya National Rally Championship. They have been doing the second loops of the rally only. So today they left just after the priority 1, 2 and 3 drivers all left for the final loop. So they were the last on the road, and we hope that they do get a good ride and come back and we can easily, get to tell their story as part of the Safari Rally. But of the FIW, rally stars, one of them has got 2 jobs. I mean, he's been working with that team, and yesterday he had to retire after his engine took up some water. Let's first speak to, Hamza Anwar. He is also part of the Junior World Rally Championship team. And Hamza, you should just give us, a take of how it went down for the first loop yesterday morning, because going into day 2, you just lost a few, you just lost some time on Diego Dominguez. So going to day 2, just take me through the first part of it.
Yeah, it was a good battle on day 1. Continued to battle on day 2 until kilometer 19. We had the first big river crossing of Soisambu, and unfortunately for me it took me out. The car sucked in water. It was very deep for the little Fiestas, but it's part of the safari. It was a cold hand, a cold blow. What a good battle we had with Diego. But this is motorsport, this is rallying. Started off very well. I think we proved our pace. We are fast, we're quick. It shows the Kenyans have it in them to give the foreigners a run for their money. And it was incredible. We're very proud of the times we put in. So until kilometer 19, the splits were quite good. It was 60 seconds ahead of the competition, but it wasn't to be, and we're here today in the sunshine, beautiful Naivasha, still embracing WRC. Amazing just to see the event here, and everyone in harmony, all the motoring heads, the petrol heads, rejoicing. Amazing. We should look at our blessings and move on forward from there.
Now, you're part of the junior WRC competition this season. Macrae was in it last year, but you could tell us the experiences that you've had competing against the best in the world.
Definitely competing with the best in the world has really upped the game for all of us, especially for me. I've really improved on my driving, improved of not just my driving skill, but a lot that comes around it for motorsport, and shows our focus is there. We're getting somewhere, and we're going to keep pushing. We've raised through the ranks quite fast in this junior WRC championship, and we're looking forward to it, and hopefully we get another shot at this. But the sky sky is the limit.
Well, something that's happening in the WRC, M Sport Poland have provided the Fiestas that you've rallied with throughout, but they brought in a new car for Rally Italia Sardinia. They brought in the Ford Fiesta R3 Evo. Just explain to us, what the difference is between the R3 that you have here, the Rally 3 car that you have here, and also the Rally 3 that you're going to use, that you used in Italy and you're going to use for the rest of the season.
Definitely, there's quite a significant difference between the two cars. What we're using, the current spec, the old spec, and the Evo. The suspension is the biggest. There's a bit of lightened components. It has some nice displays, a bit of an update on the ECU and the software. A little bit of the hardware, but the main thing is the aero quip, the side mirrors, the grille. The cars had slight overheating issues, but now it seems like the new car is very reliable and much improved. And of course, cars get better with time and development, so a big step up. Hopefully we can update our cars too soon.
Now, it's a miracle that you haven't grown white hair in 2 weeks, because you're also handling the Talanta Hela team, on the side besides rallying.
Yeah, it's amazing. The girls have done a very good job. I'm just there to mentor. The boys have put in all the hard work preparing the car at short notice, all 3 cars. Amazing. I think they've done incredibly well. We're actually hoping and praying they all get to the finish line. It's been very difficult, but we're looking forward to them and also training them and giving them a little of what we have learnt as well, and helping them to improve their skills and also represent Kenya one day.
Next stop is Estonia, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, all the best, and that is in July, and you'll get to watch the 5 TV stages live on KBC Channel 1. Thank you, Hamza. Well, another FIA rally star from Kenya in this program is Jeremiah Wahome. Jeremiah, he was having a good and steady run and suffered the same gremlins as Hamza yesterday, and looks like it was the same place. Soy Sambu. Jeremiah, running well, started off, with power steering problems, but you somehow were able to nurse the car all through, the tough day. But yesterday, how did that happen when you sucked in the water?
Yeah, funny thing is, the first pass we were okay. We got through the water fine. There were a few cars parked on the side, so I came in a bit slowly and powered out. Then in the afternoon, in the spirit of just taking it easier, I went in slower, but that was completely the wrong way to do it, because then now the engine had time to swallow the water. So we had to stop, and we got pulled out, but we came back to service and they managed to revive the car, though we weren't too sure if it was going to be okay or not. So we headed out today morning and everything was sounding and seeming fine, but at the start of Malawa, the engine just said no. So that's how quickly our day ended.
Well, from the experiences that you've had, including this season, getting a maiden Kenya National Rally Championship win, if I was to count it, it's 24 years since a Kenyan won. I think should have been Patrick Njuri sometime in July 99. What feeling does that give you as you continue with the rest of the season?
It's quite encouraging, because as a driver, that shows you that you have what it takes to do it. You're just being in the right place at the right time when you deliver. So for me to also get it quite early in my career, it's quite encouraging. So it means that we can realistically start setting that as a target to keep attaining for, and we've shown that there's no reason why not to. There's a lot of tough competition, but we're getting right amongst the big boys to keep consistently fighting with them, so it's very encouraging.
2 events that you'll be looking at primarily, we'll be talking about the Kenya National Rally Championship and the Africa Rally Championship. What's your plan for the rest of the season?
Right now, no plans for the Africa Rally Championship. We did that last year, but the plan for this year isn't that for now, but is to finish off the KNRC Championship. We started off strong, obviously, but I didn't have a finish in Voi, and we didn't enter Nakuru, and then I have not finished Safari. So that will set us quite far back, but I think we have 5 more rounds, if I'm not wrong. So hopefully we'll try gain as much ground as we can and hope for a strong finish.
Thank you very much, Jeremiah. And now he can take a rest together with his, co-driver, Okundi. So there they are speaking to us here at the service park. And just a reminder, that is the Talanta Helen KBC zone. That's where the cars are being serviced. Tinash Gatimo and Hamam Caroline Gatimo. We've got Pauline Shegu and Lynette Ayuko, and then you've got Tash Tundo together with her navigator Chantal Yang. So those are the three bays that they're using, and then there is one more bay here where Koi is coming to have her car serviced. So this is the first bay for the Talanta Hela team. So you've got Jennifer Malik here. If you look at the start list and the results, it's Jennifer Ayetza. That is the first service bay. Then you've got the Gatimo family bay, Pauline Shegu's bay, and Tash Tundo's bay. And then after that, another Kenya National Rally Championship team, and that is where Isa Amori is backed. So from the KWS service pack, at least we've given you a feel of where all of this is. Right now, rallying are the Kenya National Rally Championship drivers. For the top priority drivers, they are at holding in. Kiko Kareithi is the navigator in that studio. He's going to explain what holding in means and holding out. So that's where they are, in between Oserian 2 and Hell's Gate 2, which is known as the Wolf Power Stage. It's going to be live from 2 p.m. Fast car in 2:15 p.m. until 3:30, when they've got the quick podium to award the top 3 drivers, and then after that come back to the service park just behind where my cameraman is. That's where there's going to be the prize giving. Back to you, Tira Swayaki, in studio.
Thank you very much, Daniel Wahome. Daniel Wahome, hats off. Brilliant stuff. You've given us a heads up. Now we know where things stand. Jeremiah Wahome retired yesterday, but because of the Super Rally window that you explained to us, Kego, he came back on board. But then today, because of the problems he encountered yesterday on Soisambu, he's out and cannot come in because the Super Rally window does not apply on the last and final day of the rally. So that's it for Jeremiah Wahome, but he's done us proud. Getting this far with all those mechanical problems, that's proper perseverance. And then there was Hamza Anwar, who Sir David Wahome spoke to first. He's the nephew to Azad Anwar, who's much more known, and then son to Assad. Assad didn't go into rallying, the father.
Not this rally, but he has rallied. Okay. It's a rally family.
Oh, brilliant. Yes. But Azad is the more known one.
Muzee Azza is the one people know.
Yes.
I'm sure the fans remember his name.
Yes.
He used to be navigated by my good friend Julius Gige, Pastor Gige. And so we used to call them the Sheikh and the Pastor.
Azad Anwar.
Azza.
A-Z-A-R.
Exactly. Azza Anwar.
Okay, he's not Azad Anwar. He's the guy with mechanical place on Gong Road?
Near the Nairobi Hospital?
Yes.
It used to be there, yes.
It used to be there?
Yeah.
Wow.
But Azza has been rallying and has also been involved in mentoring young people.
Like Elvis Kavisi?
Exactly. Actually, one of the first rallying schools was started by Azza, even before Abdul Sidi Rallying Academy.
I've always called him Azad.
Azza together with the late Ben Moshemi.
I've always referred to him as Azad.
No, his name is Azza.
Azza Anwar. He was one of the best rally drivers actually in the 80s.
Yes, I remember.
And actually, he was a nemesis to Patrick Njuru and David Anunda.
Yes.
And JT.
And Azza was one of the first proponents of rallying on a budget. He used to have famously a Subaru Legacy station wagon, which was his school car for taking children to school.
Okay.
So after the rally, he would,
and even for those rookies in the 80s and also 90s.
Yes.
And it might be late 70s. If you wanted the rally car, you go to Azza Anwar's garage.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's absolutely brilliant. Now we've been given some homework, and it's got your name on it. Tell us what holding in and holding out mean.
A rally runs to a time schedule.
Okay.
So now when you want to stop that time, you put them in something called holding. Where holding now, you're no longer counting the time for the cars that are in holding. It's a thing where maybe you want to bunch the cars together. For example, they want to send them out onto the Wolf stage, and they want them to come in 3 minutes. They don't want, the cars as you rally, you start to leave each other with gaps. So now you want to bunch them back together. So you put them in the holding, and the stewards decide the holding is going to be for half an hour, or it's going to be for whatever long. The holding has park farm rules. Park farm means the car cannot be worked on.
Yes.
The driver and navigator put the car in the car. They put the car in the holding area. They close the car and they come out. And then they are told 10 minutes before your timeout, they'll be informed of when their timeout is. 10 minutes before your timeout, you're allowed to now go to the car, start the car, get yourself belted in, suited up and everything, and then proceed to the exit. And then at the exit, you'll be told to go out in your time. Then now you continue your rally schedule.
That's holding out.
That is holding out, yeah.
And it applies best in the last stage, doesn't it? So that when the vehicles arrive for the ceremonial bit of the rally,
there's no delay.
Exactly, there's no delay.
Exactly, yeah. They are bunching them up together for what's going to come next. And you know, the power stage is what people have been waiting for.
Yes.
You know, this is where you can pick up the scraps. Even if you are on rally 2, you can pick up 5 points here, and 5 points is a lot. So the energy, the excitement, the commitment to this last stage is going to be crazy. There are 3-4 people there who won the top 5 points, and they are going to be really sending it.
Does it apply to other stages as well?
No,
Can you use it just
stage.
for the last stage?
The last stage is called
holding in.
It's the normal stage
out.
that was done in the morning.
Yes.
And in the morning it was Hell's Gate. Hell's Gate 1.
Yes.
Now it's Hell's Gate 2. It comes under the Wolf Power Stage. It's sponsored by a company called Wolf.
Okay.
And there are bonus points to be won for whoever is fastest. This was done also to keep the excitement up till the end. You realize a rally like the Safari, by today a lot of people are crawling. So maybe people would just be getting their cars to the end, so nobody would really be speeding out of control. But when you're in a championship, you know you have 5 points here. Guys like Neuvel, guys like Tanak, who really have nothing to lose, they need those power points. So it's not going to be Pembeleza in anything here.
So holding in, holding out, just to be clear, is for the last stage.
Exactly, yeah.
No other stage.
But it can occur in any stage. It all depends on the stewards. But here was for the power stage. Yeah.
And just to add on to that, actually,
Yes.
Wolf Power Stage is actually very, very important to the teams, because this is now where the teams are told now, select 3 drivers who will be competing for those points at the Wolf Power Stage. They are waiting to get those points because they are very, very, very important cumulatively towards the win of the manufacturing team.
And what informs the selection of those 3 drivers? Is it
You go for the best.
the top 2,
Yes,
top 3?
yes, like Hyundai, you pick on actually Thierry Neuville. And then, of course, Sapeka Lapi, and then, of course, someone like Dan Solo. You pick up the best. When it comes to Toyota Gazoo, might be Karina Vumpera. And then, of course, you pick on this guy called Takamoto Kasuta.
Not
then,
Sebastian Ogier.
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
But that gentleman can, you know, every time we've had a problem in the rally, the first time we did, he arrived in his car, in the car that he was servicing us with, and I was expecting him to come in a tow truck because I was assured that our car wasn't going anywhere. Tyson comes to the wherever you are, and he fixes the car such that your car drives off. It's not about towing anything, you know. And that mindset is a rally mindset. It's not a normal mechanic mindset.
We also had driver interviews after this morning's session. Let's catch up on what unfolded before we come back and continue.
For me, basically not a lot to say. We just got through, try to recce the power stage to correct the pace notes, and push for the power stage this afternoon. It's the only thing we can do.
It's only recce speed, a bit faster than recce. I mean, for sure on the uphills we are slower than the recce because with the 2-wheel drive you cannot really climb the uphill.
Exactly, just
but anyway, the main thing was to get through. But I was thinking we have a 4-wheel drive car to come through. But yeah, I tried to check the pace notes for the power stage as well as we could. For sure, it's going to be tough to try to do a good time when you do a proper fast first pass now on the power stage. If we can make it until that's also a bit of a question mark. But yeah, anyway, I mean, this Sunday seems to be the stages are a bit different from each other.
The power stage will be quite bad, I believe. Already now we were only 3rd or 4th car on the road, and the road was getting destroyed. So I'm sure it was just getting worse and worse, and second loop will be pretty destroyed.
The first one was quite crazy, honestly, for the car, for the body. So very difficult on our side. But yeah, the power stage is very nice and smooth stages. Very different from the rest, so much more enjoyable.
Yeah, for sure. Like afternoon loop going to be more rough and difficult, but now situation is no fight anymore. Just finish the rally, so nothing special.
Yeah, it was I feel the car good in the morning. We
we are in the middle of nowhere, so we can. The only thing we can do is wait a little bit to if it's some problems in the people in front, but if not, we can do much more.
Yeah, quite okay morning. Straight away in the morning, it was a bit rough stage, but I still did a quite good pace. Nothing too risky, let's say, but yeah, a good pace there and a bit of push. And after that, I tried to be quick all the time, but yeah, couldn't really work with the car as well as I wanted. I was fighting the car a bit on the tricky conditions, but yeah, still quite good morning.
Yeah, so after the first stage, we had a bit of a drama. We had a small spin and lost the rear spoiler, so that wasn't an ideal start to the day, let's say. After we seemed to get through quite cleanly and seemed to manage okay in the end.
I lost the rear bumper again. I don't know why, but okay, it's okay. But it's been a good morning. Won all the 3 stages, so I'm happy. It's been for sure very rough, so not pushing too hard, but without any risk, but just trying to keep the flow.
We did half the section. The gear selector broke, so we did that whole section in second gear. Couldn't change gear, so then trying to start the car, we did the whole way back in transport in second gear, so trying to start the car to get up the hill.
No, it was just, half the stage sleeping warrior in second gear, and obviously when you try and start the car and you're stuck in second gear, you're having to slip the clutch. So rather than cause that damage, it's just we timed it, so we just drove straight into service, into the control.
Quite loose, as in it felt slow. The surface has got a lot of sand on there, so I'm sure the second pass will be worse, but no, we didn't change anything in our notes, we were just trying to get through.
Clipped a rock in there. We did quite a good stage time, but we had to change the tyre at the end of it because it's taken a big chunk out the side. And then into Oserian, which was all the fesh. Yeah. In fact, Seb Ogier lost his whole rear boot. We actually thought it was a car stuck in the tree, but it was just his boot. So it was fine.
Well, stage was quite sleepy. Oserian full of dust. Having some clutch issues now. Some dust has got into the pressure plates. So we'll have to see what we're gonna do. We're not sure whether we should fix the car or try and see if it's gonna complete the next loop. No guarantee.
Brilliant stuff coming there from Naivasha. Those interviews were conducted earlier today in the morning at the end of that particular session, and you can see how difficult it is. You can see how frustrated those faces are. It's not because they don't love what they do, but what they do can be very challenging. Now, time for the usual pitch. Ready for this? Let's go for it. Je, unajua unaweza kuhifadhi maji ya mvua kwa gharama nafuu kwa kutumia dam liners kutoka Elgon, Kenya? Maji ya dam liners hutumika kwa misimu mingi. Kwa mfano, umwagiliaji mimea ili kuongezea uzalishaji zaidi na hata usambazaji maji ya matumizi ya nyumbani. Dam liners kutoka Elgon, Kenya. Watengenezaji wa Elgon Thabiti. Fertilizer Elgon, Kenya. Transforming farms and lives through technology. Kwa maelezo zaidi, piga simu nambari 0717888877 ama 0733509509. Wonderful. Gentlemen, listening in to those interviews, it's amazing. It's that place of standing is like a hospital. Everyone's coming in with their problems. Oh, my gearbox. Oh, my clutch. Oh, someone's boot. The door flung wide open and flew away. We thought the boot was actually buried into a tree. It's a bit like the story of life. Everyone comes with their problems. Oh, my blood pressure is doing this. Oh, I'm getting stressed with school fees and that sort of. Isn't this, psychologically speaking, the thing that sets sportsmen apart from people who've never engaged in sports? Because it gives you endurance through life, psychologically speaking, and that stamina there's something about people who've participated in sports in their lives, isn't there?
That is akin to, during the colonial time, the King George Hospital.
Yes.
Which later on became the
Kenyatta National Hospital. Kenyatta National Hospital.
National Hospital. You know, the Parc Fermé is where all those people reassemble. You know, the officials, the marshals, and when even they are repairing their cars, they actually marshals around to make sure that you don't touch something that you're not supposed to in terms of repair.
Yes.
So that is what happens. Every problem, you have your own tent there, you have your own mechanics there, you come to the bay, as what Daniel was saying, and of course you kind of like, you have a list. The co-driver has a list of the problems that they faced, and they're able now to communicate to the chief mechanic, and it's done immediately.
And this gives sportsmen something in life. It gives them that enduring spirit. That
enduring spirit, yes.
Yes. Because I realized doing sports in school really taught me a lot. It probably taught me more than I learned in the classroom. It gives you that endurance in life that you won't get in the classroom. Or maybe you can. It depends on your perspective on life. Kego, am I talking sense?
No, it's true. Sports allows you to, think quickly on your feet. Decision making allows you to work with teams together, realizing that you can't do everything by yourself. And so it is life lessons, and when they are well done, they mold you into a full human being.
Yes, because really, what those guys are going through, this is what they love. It's something they've invested their entire lives in, but they're rather disappointed by things that are beyond their powers. I mean, if a vehicle breaks down for one reason or the other, it's broken down. And life has to go on all the same. You've got to have a positive mentality, haven't you? We saw a guy dipping in, his feet in water yesterday after he retired at some stage or the other. One of the rally drivers, when you would have thought, hey, he should be crying.
Yeah, he decided to go and have some fun at the Lake Elementaita.
Yes.
And watch the flamingos. Yeah?
Just remind me who that was.
Esapekalapi. Like this particular car did the Sardinia rally in somewhere in Italy. I think it's an island.
Yes.
So when it is coming to say like WRC Safari, he's actually rebuked anew. So for the prop propeller shaft to kind of like come off.
Yes.
It's something that you needed to do something. Go and relax onto the water, because a propeller shaft, that train propeller shaft coming off, is something like that is actually unexpected. A damper, yes, but a propeller shaft.
Yes.
He had to go to the lake and watch the flamingos, enjoy the algae, and kind of like and buys himself a 404.
Yes.
To be happy. And it reminds me of another guy from Nakuru, called Kiko Mwangi, who also rallied in a VW 1961. A hometown guy, and hometown, like some of us in Nakuru, used to go to Langalanga. We could not afford the 1 shilling that was actually the entry shilling fee for the Langalanga circuit. We got the top hill there to be able to see those Jim Heather Hayes doing their stuff, biking and the cars.
Yes.
And it's quite an enjoyable sport.
And what informs
you? They had the best seats in the house. That hill.
we had.
Yeah. What informs the coverage of Safari Rally? Is it there commercial interests? Because there are people behind the scenes, mechanics. If you ask me, I've had Taiso for the first time here. We don't hear of those people who work behind the scenes, like Lynn Tundo, for example. She's a course clerk. She doesn't get the kind of publicity. Maybe she doesn't like publicity, but she doesn't get the kind of publicity that her other family members get. They drive the Safari Rally. They get all the publicity. What informs the coverage of Safari Rally?
And what happens even with the mechanics that Kiko Karedi is talking about? Those people are volunteers. They are never paid even a single cent. It's love for the sport. I remember even the ones that used to go with Patrick Njiro. It's actually voluntary. You're not paid anything. The only thing that you get maybe is accommodation. You come with your tools there, and you want to be part and parcel of for that particular event.
The $1 million question. Is it going to be Sebastian Ogier at the finish line as number 1, because we're heading there now, or is it going to be Kale Rovanpera, in your view?
Well, it looks like OJ has this one in the bag, but you can't call Safari until the end. So my money is on OJ, but let's see.
So I remember World Croatia last year when I was actually betting on Elvin Evans.
Yes.
And then of course Sebastian Ogier was kind of like 3 seconds behind him. Sebastian Ogier came and defeated Elvin Evans by 0.3 seconds. So you'll never know.
Did that have to do with a mishap?
It was a mishap, just like what happened with the Carlos Oliveira. You kind of like go off the road kidogo and lose 2 seconds.
Yes.
And this guy is coming flat out.
Oh, God.
0.3 seconds. That was the killer. It was kind of like the Asai Kasai moment. That was the slightest, what would I call it? The shortest finish ever.
In rallying history?
In WRC history.
Gosh.
0.3 seconds.
So it's a bit of a gamble.
Yeah, gamble.
It's like we said earlier, it's not over until the fat lady sings.
Yes.
Not over.
That gives you all the more reason to stick with us and find out for yourself. Be the first to find out. This is the place to be the first to find out. So you stick with us. We're going back to Naivasha for a live feed, and we'll get to know who between Sebastian Ogier, the Frenchman who's leading the pack, and Karl Rovanperä, the new flying Finn, is going to be number one at the tail end of today's edition of the WRC Safari Rally Kenya. Stay with KBC Channel 1 TV. This is it. We'll be back later on.